Hi everyone, David Sossella here from Fresh Pencil Studio, Italy. First of all, I want to thank you, Serif, for inviting me to this 2020 lockdown event. I'm very happy to join, and thank you again. I'm an illustrator, I'm a graphic designer. I also work in character design field and as an art director. I love to try and explore as many techniques as possible, from painting on giant canvas like this in the back to vector graphic and vector art. Also, I love to work with a lot of detail in my illustration and trying to breathe life into the scene and the characters. I'm also very into the traditional Japanese culture as a traditional martial artist. And I love to mix themes of the Western and Eastern culture and mysticism all together in a new synthesis in a new way, or to use ancient symbols and redesign it in a modern and funny, sometimes funny way. So now we see with this tutorial how to create feathers and put on all your characters, because I love to make character with feathers because give a lot of magic in them. And let's get started. We see how to do it. Here you can see an example of a dragon with a lot of feathers in the head and all over the body. During this tutorial we see how to realize different types of feathers, focusing the exercise on the head of the dragon only. You can see on the left I have already created the head of the dragon without feathers and the scheme with the 7 shapes of feathers that we will use. We'll see how to create them and how to put them on the head of the characters. As you can see, for more feathers I have created some color variation that can be useful during the video. Okay, for the first feathers, we have to start from a simple ellipse. I take the color from the sample in the scheme as a reference. I'm using the rectangle tool. We can cut the ellipse like this, in this position. Okay. We adjust a bit the shape. Okay. I usually like to make some interruption of the shape like this. That improves the sensation of feathers. Okay. Now we will create the middle section part, okay, like this, and in the edge is less thick. This is a gradient that can help to have the sensation of the feathers. We adjust a bit like this, okay, okay. We can group it now, and we have the first feathers. Okay. Let's start with the second now. Okay, as you can see, this model has a reflection effect. This time I will go directly with the pen tool and draw it directly. I don't want to start with a regular shape in order to create a more realistic result. just a few adjustments. We create another gradient like this. Okay. Again, we create the middle section of the feathers in the same way of the first one. And also adjust the thickness of this middle section. Okay. A little bit of transparency that can help. Okay. And with this operation we cut a section that can give the sensation of a little bit of thickness of the feathers. Okay. Put all together. We zoom a bit to go in the tails like this. We position here. Okay. Okay, now we are ready to realize the reflection. Just a few points like this and we are ready. We create this type of shape. Okay, this reflection can add the sensation of more realistic feathers, and your work is become more rich, okay, and complete, like this. Okay. Now again we give a bit of transparency here. Okay. And we group. Now we go with the third type of feathers that is very, very similar of the second one, but we need to add a back shadow that gives the impression that the feathers is lifted up more, a little bit. So now we change the color. Okay, now we go to create the shadow, the back shadow. Okay, I rotate it and simply cut to create a new shape. Okay. You can cut, you can simply put behind. I prefer to cut because if I had some transparency, it's better to cut, but as you can see, we can also simply put a shadow on the back in this way. Okay, now we need to give some transparency, and it's important to give the multiply effect to the shadow. Okay, so can better merge with the other element in the background. Okay. Okay, we can group our object, and the important trick now is to, in the hand of the feather, we add a bit of transparency that can help to give the impression that the feather comes directly out from the skin of the character and is more better and easier to put all together. It's important that the transparency is not too long, it's a short part that is transparent. Okay, the fourth part, the fourth feather here, the fourth model, is simply a variation in color and shape of the third. So you can create how much variation you have the sensation that you need in color, in shape, in dimension, this is up to you, and it depends from your design, okay, and from your needs. Now create one variation in color. We change the gradient like this. We adjust all the part to recolor it and adjust it. The reflection, the middle side. Okay. Voila. Okay, and so on. You can change the color and the shape as you want. Again, we make a group, and now we add this type of fur, we can call it, that help the design to be more, have more variation and give more richness to all the plumage that we will go to do later. This type of element give also more dynamics to the composition, and it's very simple. We create this vector shape. Again, we adjust the thickness, and we add a transparency. Same for the other one, is the same element with a shadow that again is important, that is in multiply mode. Okay, we duplicate and rotate to create a shadow like this. Okay, perfect. Okay, we can group, and again we add a little bit of transparency here that can help to put this element wherever you go and make it work. Now the last one is the little feathers that now here we have two variation in color, but it's the same. And as you can see, we use this to in the part where the plums start to come out on the skin. Okay, it's very easy. You can create a vector shape like this, in this way. Okay, we duplicate it, and then we simply cut this element with the other, like this. Okay, we add this simple ellipse that gives a bit of reflection. And we create a little middle section also in these small feathers. Okay, like this. And we can create another little transparency that gives the sensation. Okay, here, sorry, okay, we have this little transparency here. And now we are ready to see how to put the feathers in the head of the dragon. That is the second part of the tutorial. I'm gonna use all the model of the scheme that is a little more accurate. So we start from the back of the head of the dragon. I simply duplicate and rotate the element. It's important to create a variety in size, position for more dynamic result. Okay, like this. You can variate. Okay, then I begin with another type of feathers that I put in the front of the dragon. As you can see, the transparency and can help to give the impression that the feathers come out from the skin of the dragon. Okay, is more natural. Again, it's important to move in a sort of circle, so let's rotate them a little bit to follow the shape of the head, like this. And also, if you press Ctrl on the Mac, you can rotate and resize in the meantime the element. That is pretty cool for me and useful. I use it a lot. Now we take the other feathers. We start with the orange part, because as you can see, this part of the head is more orange, so we need also more orange feathers, like this. Again, we duplicate the element, we create other feathers and rotate it. And now I use the third feathers with the shadow, that, as you can see, give the sensation that is a bit lifted up and give more, looks more deep. Like this. It's important that the shadow don't go really out of the head. We can go like as you can see behind the eye of the character. Now we start to use a little bit of this fur element or spine element, I don't know. You see, you can use also the dark one. All the dark element is in the background, or in the more light element is in the foreground. So now we use some of the fur or spine with the shadow. Okay, we put here, for example, and again we duplicate it and adjust. Like this. You need to play around a bit with the element and see how to put all together. It's up to you, to your wants. Okay. Now use the little one. That is nice to see how, if you put under the shadow, it looks like it's come out from the shadow. It's nice. This is because it's transparent, and normally you can put where you want. I normally used to put from one feathers to another, which you can see here now. Create this. And here we use the little red one, like this. Okay. And now you see we start to have the impression that the head of a dragon is full of feathers. It's only, you need only to continue to use different type and mix it a bit. Normally, because we add a lot of element, I create a very easy shortcut to make easy to put up and down in the layers the single element or group, and in this way it's more easy to go up and down with the the single feathers. Okay. You can also use the very dark for the background. That is really a silhouette. And it's important also to move and rotate to create more variation. You can simply make like this, because you can also change the shape a bit. Now we add other feather. You can simply duplicate from the feather that is already in place in the dragon. You don't need to go every time to your already done feather. So you can take and duplicate and move, copy and paste, and so on, like this. You see that the transparency here? Again, is now every time you need to adjust the what is up, what is down, okay, in the various layer, because okay, we cover the part under the eye. We can add some spine to give the impression that is more dangerous. With this spine, it's more a wild dragon. Okay, now we add other background feather. Okay. Oops. We have almost done it. And it's up to you to understand when your plumage work is done. Okay. We are almost here. Okay, now give the impression that is round, the head become round. Here, for example, you can see another illustration where I use the same feathers in a different subject. There is orange here, little feathers here, medium and large, dark in the background. And here I also add a rim light that gives more the impression of a second light. This is another example. The same feathers is a little bit more flat, because I need a more flat effect, so I reduce the reflection of the feather and add more shadow on it. This is our video, our tutorial, and I hope you enjoy how to make your illustration full of feathers in Affinity Designer. Okay, goodbye and thank you everyone. Bye bye.